Hi, hello. Let's see if this is working. All right. Hello, hello. Hi there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're watching this for the very first time, my name is Choma, or I go by Nurse Choma. That I am a registered nurse, but I went full time in my business um, in 2016. That's when I started this whole entrepreneurship journey, just like many of you that are watching this broadcast. So I hope that what I can share with you is going to benefit you. A little bit about myself, just so that way you know more about who I am. We're going to be talking about the best way to leverage social media. So I started my first business, which is called Choosing Nursing, and essentially, I used that business was designed to help nurse graduates to pass their boards examination, and I was able to grow that completely online through social media. So all across social media, we've amassed at least over 100,000 followers. We have 41,000 followers on Instagram, 39,000 followers on Facebook, and then I've been able to reach 1 million monthly views on Pinterest. And I just started TikTok, and now the TikTok channel is over 11,000 followers, and I've been able to hit viral with now over, I think the last time I checked, it's like 400,000 views. So information, all that knowledge, I use that in order to build out a marketing agency, which helps people like yourself, businesses, business owners, small business owners, entrepreneurs, in order to grow online and learn how to really leverage social media. Social media is by far one of the best platforms that you can use once you figure it out, once you understand the possibility. That is essentially where passive income can come into place. That is essentially where you can be able to impact people all over the world. I've been able to help people that live in the Philippines, people that live in Jamaica, Nigeria, Canada, and it's just so amazing. Not just the USA, simply just because of the power of social media, and so it's just amazing because you don't have to limit yourself, who you are, or who will even see any of your content or what you're talking about. So I'm going to go right into it, and we're going to talk about the best way to leverage social media. And let me just make sure that the video, okay, we're working, we're live. Awesome. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the best way for you to leverage your social media. So, especially if you are a beginner, if this is your first time doing this, like you're not really familiar with how social media works, the advantages of it. What I'm going to hopefully share with you is something that you haven't already heard, right? Like content that will hopefully give you a different perspective. And I would definitely like to call myself a strategist, meaning that I think strategically when it comes to decisions, when it comes to posting, when it comes to everything that I do in the online space. So, one of the things that you have to consider is that when you start trying to leverage social media, you have to work or think with the end in mind. Okay, let me say that one more time. You have to honestly think from the end in mind. So, what that means is you have to first identify, right, which I'm sure you already know what it is, but you have to identify what is the objective that you have, right? What is the end goal that you want people to go through, um, or I should say, experience with you or your brand or your company, right? Using social media. And usually that's going to be to buy some type of product or some type of service or some type of program, right? So you have to consider that at the end, and then you have to work backwards. That's why there's so much power in funnels, because funnels is essentially forcing you to create a roadmap to getting you to that result that you desire. So for the issue for a lot of people is that when they start on social media, they don't really think of a whole picture, or they don't really approach it from a space of longevity. They're really just thinking about short-term results or right now, or they're thinking that everybody that sees their post or sees their content or sees their video or whatever is automatically going to be in love with them or love their brand or love their company, but they're not really realizing that there is more to the picture, right? There's more to the picture. So here's one of the things is that you have to ask yourself, and you want to, I would recommend doing this as homework, is what does your ideal client or customer need to know before they will buy your product or service? All right. What does your ideal client or customer need to know before they buy your product or service? This is very important because it's going to help to eliminate a lot of the objections, hurdles, constraints, different issues that you're finding with posting on social media but not getting results, right? So you have to consider, okay, what do they need to know? What's everything they need to know? Right? And you have to list that out on ideally like on a piece of paper or or document. So for example, do they need to know obviously who you are, who your business, what your business is all about, who have you already helped, or if it's a brand new business, why you're an expert, right, in whatever it is that you're talking about. They need to know if it's a physical product, how the product is going to arrive, how soon the product is going to get there, what is the size of the product, what is the color, what is the look, right? Who is the product usually for? Who has had success with the product in the past? These are some of the things I need to know as far as the specifications of the actual product. But then when you think about, for those of you that are like coaches and consultants, um, when you have like some type of program that you're trying to promote, then it's a little bit different because now you have to kind of get deeper, you know? So for example, like you could be a health and wellness coach, right? And so you have some type of program that helps people in their health and wellness, right? And so, but your approach is like holistic health or prevention health. But the thing is, like, so you have to identify, okay, well, what are all the things that people need to know to understand the need to invest in a $5,000 coaching with health and wellness, right? So do they need to, is there a mindset shift that they need? Do they need to understand the power of changing their diet, the power of exercise? Do they need to understand that in different language? Do they need to see results, right? A before and after photo. Do they need to understand um, what are the habits that they may be doing right now that is consequently affecting them that they don't realize? And what's the impact of that? So these are some examples, right? So maybe you're a trauma coach, right? Well, if you're a trauma coach and your goal, your end goal is to help people to, work with you and everything. Well, what are some of the things that they need to know about even getting this specific type of coaching, right? So, for example, maybe you could talk about what are the health, how does people not dealing with their trauma affect them long term? How does it affect their physical health? How does it affect their mental health? How does it affect their relationships? Right? So these are all different things. 10 facts that occurs for most people when they deal with some type of trauma, right? That would be an example, right? Or maybe you have to also talk. You can also talk to people as far as like what trauma looks like. Sometimes people don't even recognize that they went through trauma because for them that might be their norm. That might be what they're used to, what they've gotten used to for all their life. But they don't even know it's trauma. So sometimes you have to even post content that helps people to identify that they have gone through some type of trauma, right? So this is an example, and I'm giving different examples, but what I'm trying to point out to you is that there are different things that people need to know before they can buy your product or service, right? And the more you can put those things in front of them in the form of value, but still keep it in mind that it's going to help lead people into a buying decision, the more sales you'll make online and the faster you'll make those sales. right? So you have to consider, okay, what exactly does my ideal client or customer need to know? And it could be like 5, 10, 20 different things, honestly. This is why there's power in doing challenges. Because when people do, for example, a 5-day challenge, a 7-day challenge, or whatever day challenge, what's happening is that you're doing the challenge either for free or really, really low price. So that way you have a wide entry point. What you're essentially doing is that you are giving people an opportunity to go through an experience with you or with your business or your company, so that way you can honestly address all of the limiting beliefs, all of the core objectives, all the things that they need to know that will not only benefit them, open up their eyes, help them to see things differently, but will help them, but make them buying your product or service an obvious thing to do, right? A clear to, oh my gosh, yes, I do have this issue. Yes, I have been dealing with this. Yes, it is affecting me in this way. Okay, how much is the program? Okay, how do I sign up for it? So that's essentially what it is. And one thing I would say is that if you can map out a funnel first before you even start your social media, or if you're going to rebrand or whatever with your social media, that would be excellent, because then every time you post, what you're posting now, the way you're thinking is that you're approaching things from, all right, this post is going to deal with this limiting belief, this post is going to deal with this problem, pain point that my ideal client has. So now it helps you to kind of shift the way you're posting. So now what you're posting is actually really speaking directly to your ideal client or customer. And in addition to that, then you're adding hashtags. So now the hashtags that you're including is speaking to your ideal client or customer in a more profound way, right? So now not only are you putting out that clear, that clear wording or clear topic, whatever it is that you're talking about that speaks to their situation, you're also now adding hashtags that's specific to the hashtags your ideal client or customer would be looking up, right? And sometimes it may not always necessarily be just like, for example, with the trauma coach example, it may not necessarily be like trauma coaches in your city or how to find a trauma coach. Sometimes, honestly, it's keywords that will help people to identify the problems that they have that will lead them to the solution, which is you, right? So, for example, maybe with the trauma coach example, it could be, um, what it means if you're having headaches all the time or something like that. I'm not saying that it's always equated to this or whatever, but I'm just trying to give you an example of how somebody that's your ideal client, right? They may need to know, they may be having a certain type of problem, and so now what you're doing is that you are putting in the hashtags that they're looking for. That's why long tail hashtags, especially on YouTube, does very well with matching you with your ideal client, because then you're more likely to honestly convert them, because that's very specific words that they're looking for, very specific issue that they have, right? So hopefully what I'm saying, I really hope what I'm saying is like making a lot of sense. So that's one of the things. The other thing too is, now that you have an idea of, you're creating this really great content, right? So you're identifying all the type of issues that they have, right? And so you have to really see. That's why, like I said, I'm very strategic, right? I'm thinking like you have to be thinking all the type of issues that they have and creating content tailored to that. It's going to be so easy for you to find, or for your ideal client or customer to even find you, because of the type of content you put out. One thing I'm a big believer on is attraction marketing. Attraction marketing means that you put out the right content, you put out the right posts, the right videos, the right reels, and that attracts the people that you want to work with, the people that want to follow you, the people that will eventually want to work with you or buy your product or buy your service, right? That's the best. That's because honestly, you're going to have the least amount of restriction when you do that. And what's even better is if you can post and just post content of things that is specific to somebody that already recognizes the problem that they have, right? So content where people already recognize this is a I have a trauma problem, right? Or I have a health problem, or I have a mental health problem, whatever it is, right? I have a sickness problem, whatever it is, something that helps that's already speaking to people that already recognize they have a problem. Because when you post that type of content and you draw those type of people to you, you're gonna have even less resistance, because the biggest hurdle that you'll have when you're starting on social media that a lot of people have that they're not aware of that they have is that you're not only trying to talk to everybody, but you're also the stuff that you're posting is essentially not there. It's not for somebody that already knows they have a problem, right? So if you can talk to people that already recognize they have a problem, you'll see much better results. Okay? So then the next step after that is, now that you have figured out all those content ideas, so this is how you start to generate all these powerful, really amazing content ideas, is now the next thing is, how are you going to distribute it? Okay? So how can you distribute that information in a way that will grab their attention? That's what you want. How are you going to distribute that information in a way that will honestly get their attention? So, for example, that's once again, that's where good copy comes in, right? So I would encourage everybody should have honestly a basic level of copywriting skills, and then definitely at some point have a copywriter. But if you can learn copywriting for yourself, it will make a difference with your results, because people will make decisions based on the words that you're using, the language that you're portraying, the things that you're actually saying specifically. So people say, oh, that is me, or oh, I do need that, or yes, I've been having that issue. So that's one thing, is like your copy. So how are you going to distribute it? So that's going to come down to the copy. That's going to come down to the pain points. That's going to come down to using even specific type of visual aids. So sometimes, so for example, one thing I have to do is I create diagrams, right? Especially when I'm talking to, nurses and nursing students. I create diagrams, visual aids, tables. That really helps, because it helps them to understand the information better and faster. So that's one thing as well, is that you have to identify, okay, what are visual ways that you can communicate things. That also, and so that's where some people you may be a lifestyle blogger, some people you may have a travel business, right? And so now what you want to do now is you want to communicate to your ideal client or customer, images, videos, things that make them go, like for example, let's say you have let's say you do the travel business, I'm sorry, some type of travel business, right? So now you want to communicate to people, like through your videos, your pictures, things that make people go, oh my gosh, I want to be there. Oh my god, man. And now you have to think about all the reasons why people hesitate to buying a travel package or going on a travel bit, whatever that you sell through your travel agency. Now you have to think about, what are all the things that stops them. Well, maybe it's, oh, I don't know, maybe I need to save money, right? So maybe you can position it where you are saying how it's a bundle deal, right? Where this is the lowest offer, or something to the effect of, this is a special deal, right? What are other issues that people have when they're thinking about vacation? They feel guilty. They feel like, you know what, I don't know, like I shouldn't be doing this. And then now you're putting out pictures showing people that you're putting pictures or information out there that says the benefits of why people need to rest, the benefits of why people need to travel, how it improves your blood pressure, how it's associated with lower stress levels, how it helps you to reconnect to who you are. Oh my God. If I saw that and that was on me, I was like, I'll be thinking like, oh my goodness, you know what? This is so true. Let me go and book this vacation package because I need to reconnect. Like that's why I'm struggling, right? So this is an example I'm talking about, right? So another example could be, let's say, you're the lifestyle blogger, whatever, right? Oh, and another thing too as well. I'm sorry, sticking with the example I was just showing right now, is people are stressed, right? A lot of people right now are stressed. They are anxious. So what are you doing? You're showing pictures of people so happy on vacation. People so happy oh my gosh. People just looking like so happy, so carefree, so, and everything. And people are looking at that and they just got off of work. You know what? I need to go on vacation. Man, I'm tired of this. That looks so good. Oh, I need a break. See that? Click the link in the bio. Okay. So that's the example what I'm talking about right there is that it's so it's you have to just get into their psyche. You have to think like them. And it's not manipulation or like that. You're really honestly providing a service, a product to people that they really want, that they really need, right? You have to remember too that sometimes the things that you promote, it's going to totally change people's lives. I know that you're thinking about how much money you're going to make, how much it's going to increase your business, how many followers you're going to get, but you have to remember too that it can be life changing for people. I can't tell you how many times where I posted stuff and I wasn't even thinking much about it, and people came back and told me how much, like, you don't understand. I was about to quit nursing. I was about to give up, and then I saw your post. I was just so depressed. I have people that told me I was getting ready to commit suicide, and then I saw what you posted. Like, it's that serious. Yeah, it's really that deep. So when you start to think of yourself as a creator, right, and not just somebody that's just posting stuff, but you're really having an impact, what will happen is that impact will cause you to release such a value that you can't help but not to become wealthy. You can't help but not to live in a place of overflow because of the value that you're releasing in the way that you're speaking to your ideal client or customer. These are some of the things you have to start to think about, right? Then the third thing that I want to mention too is you have to go where your ideal client or customer is. Go to where they are. The problem for a lot of people, and you may not realize this, is that a lot of people are often lazy when it comes to marketing. And I say that with all sincerity and with total love. All right, but sometimes people can be kind of lazy with the process because they don't know, but you have to go to where they are. You can't expect people to find you where you are, right? So what that means is that you have to do some research, right? So you have to go to where they are, meaning that, so for example, you have to go to targeted Facebook groups, right? So if you are a mental health expert, right, you should be in anxiety groups. You should be in groups where people are talking about their trauma. You should be in groups where people are talking about how much they're depressed. See what I'm talking about? Go to where they are, right? Another example too is influencer ads, right? So you are partnering with the right influencers, not just any influencer, because they may have engagement, they may have followers, but do they have your ideal client or customer? Because at the end of the day, if they don't, you're going to be paying all that money for nothing, right? So it is important that are you are connecting with influencers that have your ideal client or customer, and you're going to where they are. And what that does is that accelerates your results because you don't know how many months, days, years weeks, hours that they spent building that channel, right? So yeah, I would happily pay an influencer, absolutely, because they're giving you an accelerated result immediately, right? All you have to do is just pay. You don't have to figure out everything that they have to figure out, everything that they have to pay to get to where they're at, right? So that's another thing. And then the last thing as well is running ads, right? So when you run ads, what that does too is that once again, you're going to where your ideal client or customer is. You're not sitting around and waiting for them to find you just because you're posting, right? So when you run ads as well, what you're essentially doing is that because when you run ads, there are special targeting features, not so much when you boost a post. Facebook has it set up naturally where anybody that has a Facebook page, or Instagram page, and it's business, right? Naturally, it's going to say boost post, boost post, boost post. And what you're going to do, you're going to boost post thinking that you're going to get a bunch of traction. But if you don't really know what you're doing, if you don't have the right targeting in place, you're not going to get the results that you desire. So, Ads Manager, using Ads Manager allows you to target your specific ideal client. But when you post on your personal page where you have not been building it, cultivating it over time, specifically to focus on people that's your ideal client or customer, you're not going to see the same results because the people on your personal page are typically people that went to high school with you, went to middle school with you, college, etc., right? Friends of a friends, coworkers, they're not your ideal client or customer, right? So that's one of the things as well. So I hope that what I have said so far has been helpful. So once again, let me mention the tips that I mentioned, which was you want to work from the end in mind, right? You have to consider what does your ideal client or customer need to know before they buy whatever the product or service that you're offering. How can you distribute that information in a way that will get their attention? And then also you want to go to where your ideal client or customer is. If you found this helpful, definitely make sure that you let me know. Comment below. Share this like this, wherever you're tuning in or watching or listening to this from. Tell me that you found it helpful. You can send me a message if you need more help. And then you can also join my Facebook group. Click right either above or below to join the Facebook group that I have. I just launched the Facebook group, so it's brand new. And then also you can also get my marketing secrets. So I have additional marketing secrets that I also provide to people specifically on my email list, where I'll talk about everything from Reels, TikToks, free video content, like how to leverage it, etc. So you can join that as well by going to bit.ly/marketadvice. bit.ly/marketadvice. Well, I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll definitely see you the next time. All right, once again, this is Nurse Choma. Talk to you soon.